Welcome to your first tender bender lesson. Why do you need a tender bender? You need it because when you are playing a guitar using so-called bending, the neighboring strings mostly stop sounding. And the hand that is bending a string is totally subordinate to it. Whereas when playing with the help of tender bender and changing the tone height of one or two strings, the other fingers can uninterruptedly press and bend the other strings. Tender bender also enables the changing of flageolets' height. Bending flageolets is a big attraction. What is a flageolet? Flageolet is a common technique to elicit harmonics on stringed instruments. The bowed or plucked string is subdivided by a slight touch of the finger. Tender bender is a great invention for a guitar. It is impossible to play such tone combinations with such virtuosity and do 3 different bends at the same time without tender bender. So go to the shop and buy a few cheap things. Do you have a door in your house? How does it move? Don't be afraid. You don't have to buy 6 doors. Buy 6 door hinges. My tender bender was made in such a way that with a press on a pedal the height of a tone changes for half of a tone, but with a push on a pedal vertically and horizontally at the same time the height of a tone changes for a whole tone. Before playing you need to define on the limiting mechanism of each pedal its maximal movement with the help of 2 screws so that the interval can be accurate irrespective of the force of a leg with which you push the pedal. Already after a few months of practice this kind of playing comes into the performer's subconscious. A performer can be sitting on a spinny chair, discreetly tied to the back part of the wooden stagery so that he could, when necessary, raise both legs at the same time to quickly reach any pedal. Did you buy 6 door hinges? Great! You will also need a hacksaw. And a vise. Cut all your 6 door hinges on the side where there is no hole. You will fix your 6 strings on them like this. Buy a big long nail and put it in your 6 door hinges. If you want, you can cut a little of your nail on both sides. You can also earn money by making a tender bender. You can sell it to one of the other musicians. There are many instruments that need a tender bender. An electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, a banjo, a piano, a violin and so on. Every music instrument with strings needs it. Maybe I will be the biggest collector of different tender benders and I will buy it from you. I would like to establish a museum of tender benders. You can use your creativity, your art and your imagination. Try different colors, different materials, different sizes and so on. Let's make something wonderful and unforgettable together. I need somebody to make texts for all my 18 songs I wrote until now and many songs which I will, I hope, write in the future. I also need a singer, male or female from any country in the world, and I need a producer, a music label, a good band and so on. Please, make your photos and videos of your tender bender and record your own vocal versions of Tenderness, Yesternight, Bender App and my other songs based on my instrumental versions and send them to my email bobby.bender1999@gmail.com. Don't forget to write explicitly that you allow me to post them on my YouTube channel without payment. If you don't write it, send it to me anyway, but you'll miss an opportunity to promote yourself. If you write lyrics for my songs also send them, please. In that case, you don't have to waive copyrights. I might be ready to pay you for them. But if you write explicitly that you allow me to post them on my YouTube channel without payment, I will probably do it. I invented tender bender when I was 17 years old, but it took me a few years for improvements. I made it myself. People have always enjoyed my concerts. At first tender bender was without a limiting mechanism, but it was too difficult to be precise. Well, now go to the shop and buy 6 cartwheels. Add your ideas, innovations and inventions. Let's inspire each other. You can find other solutions, but don't forget that tender bender is a device for the changing of tone height with instruments with strings. The principle of the invention is that every string is connected with its pedal through flexibly knit, dressed with plastic, iron twine so that the performer can selectively change the height of tone or more tones at the same time. With the help of limiting mechanism, the performer can heighten or lower the height of tone exactly by half a tone, the whole tone or more tones, thereby achieving new tone combinations, simultaneously accurate changing of tone height or the vibrating of a string or more strings at the same time, and besides that he or she can change the height of tones also in places where it is hard or even impossible to do the so-called bend only with a finger. Without tender bender it is impossible to bend strings close to the nut or to bend an unpressed string. By most of the guitar players, the main part of virtuosity expresses precisely in the accurate bending of the sonorous string in a direction towards the other strings. Don't forget that subscribing to my YouTube channel is free for you. You will also need 6-sheathed flexible braided wires. As long as you wish. It depends on how long your legs are. I bought them in a car spare parts store. Cut a part of every little tire as a little piece of cake and make a little hole to fix flexible braided wire to each little tire. If you subscribe, I will tell you more in the video titled How to Make a Tender Bender, Part 2.